Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace today and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in my most recent Adornable Elements Rotating Beads of the Month Club. This month I got the red Jasper Gemstones. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go over everything that came in this subscription. I have a coupon code, it's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for this subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you 10% off the first month of whatever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. And here I have the 4mm red Jasper beads that came in the subscription this month. And here I have some crystals that came in one of the previous crystals companion packs that I get. Not this latest one, but these were from a previous one. They're Swarovski 5mm rounds, and the color is Jonquil AB. I'm not going to need nearly that many of these. I just put all the ones I had in that little tray there. From my stash, I'm going to be using some 3mm fire polish beads. I didn't have these labels, so I don't know exactly what the color is on them. They're kind of a coppery red color. I'm going to be using my Miyuki 11 metallic dark bronze seed beads. I've got some, these are the True 2 2mm Druck beads, and the color on this is California Gold. And I've got some findings in here. I've got a lobster clasp, 3 4mm jump rings and 1 8mm jump ring, a couple of wire guardians, a ball head pin, and I'm going to put one of the little red Jasper beads on that head pin and make a dangle out of it and hang it off this little piece of extender chain I've got here. I don't think I'm going to put any chain on this. I think I'm just going to bead the whole thing, except I'm going to put that little bit of extender chain on the back of it. I've got a couple of size 12 beading needles. You might be able to use a size 11. I'm not using any 15-0s or anything. I don't know, it might get tight in some places though, so I don't know. That's why I usually just have gotten to where I always use a size 12 in case I get in some tight places. And I'm not going to be using both of these needles at once. I try to avoid that at all costs. I'll explain when I get into it why I've got 2 here. I'm going to be using my 8-pound fire line in smoke. I'll be using my pliers to open and close my jump rings and put my findings on at the end and make my little dangle, and of course my scissors to cut my fire line. I think that's everything. I'll try to find links and put links to everything that I'm using that didn't come in the subscription in the description box below. Everything I can find links for. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my 4mm red Jasper beads out here now. This is all I'm going to need to start out with. And I've got my needle threaded, and I've got 12 feet of thread on my needle. And I know that sounds crazy, but I've got to stop bead halfway on my thread. So I've got 6 feet of thread on each side of my stop bead. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to work from the focal part of my necklace and work up each side, because I haven't done this yet and I don't know for sure. Like, it's going to be right angle weave, and I don't know how many units I want my focal of right angle weave I want my focal to be. And then I'm going to do a little connection point and then another section of right angle weave up each side. And I just don't know, however many units I make my focal is probably going to determine how many units I want to make my next section of right angle weave on each side. And since I don't know, I'm going to start in the center. And when I get some of this side done, then I'll put my other needle on this side of my thread and work on this side. So that's why I have 2 needles. And I don't know if any of that made sense, but hopefully it'll make sense as I as I go along here. You'll be able to tell what I'm talking about. So this is really easy. I'm just going to be picking up 4 of my 4mm red Jasper beads. And I'm going to drop them all the way down here to my stop bead. And I'm going to go around all these beads again. And the reason I have 12 feet and 6 feet on each side of my stop bead is just I always start out with 6 feet of thread. When I start a project, it's a comfortable length for me to work with. And so you would want to, of course, you don't have to even do it this way. You can just, by the time I get this done, if you decide you want your necklace to be the same length as mine, you'll know how many units it takes, and you wouldn't have to do this. So I'm going to sew around here until I'm coming out the 4mm opposite my stop bead. Now I'm going to make another right angle weave unit. I've already got my left side. I just need 4mm for my top, a 4mm for my right side, and a 4mm bead for my bottom. Coming out of the top of that bead, I'm going to go on the bottom of it, pull my thread through, go around all this again. Try to keep good tension on it and pull it tight because I don't want to show a lot of extra thread. I'm going to sew around until I'm coming out this bead over here on the right so I can make my next right angle weave unit. Now I'm going to make another unit. I've already got my left side of my box. I'm going to pick up a 4mm for the top of my box, 4mm for the right side of my box, and a 4mm for the bottom of my box. Coming out the top, I'm going to go on the bottom, and I'm going to go around all this again. I'll sew all the way over here to the bead on the side here so I can do my next unit. So I've got 3 units now, so I'm going to keep going until I get whatever I decide I want the focal part of my necklace to be. And then when I get done, when I just get done deciding how many of these units I want to do, I'll be back and I'll tell you how many I've got and we'll do the next part. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got 11 right angle weave units. I think that's where I'm going to stop with my focal here. So I've got 11 beads across the top there and of course across the bottom. And now I'm going to make this little connection point. I've got one of my 5mm beads and my 11-ohs. I'm coming out this bottom 4mm. I didn't go up into this side one like I would if I was going to make another right angle weave unit. I'm coming out the bottom one here. I'm going to pick up 4 11-ohs, my 5mm bead, four more 11-ohs, and my one of my red Jasper beads. I'm going to drop all that down. Now I'm going to pick up 3 11-ohs, and I'm going to go into this 11-oh above the 5mm, into the 5mm and into the 11/0 under the 5mm. And pull all that through. And I'm going to hold on to my little red Jasper bead and tug and pull the slack out of my thread that's in there. I think I got it all out. Now I'm going to pick up 3 more 11/0s. And I'm going to go into this top 4mm bead here. That's going to be my little connection point. Now I'm going to go into this 4mm. I'll go up this 4mm. I'll go up these 3 11/0s. And if I can get in it, the 11/0 under the 5mm, and the 5mm, and the 11/0 above the 5mm. Pull that tight. Now I'm going to go up these 3 11/0s. I'm going to go up into this 4mm bead. Now I know that looks kind of loose right there, but I don't want to go back around it just yet because I'm going to be coming back up and down and going around it anyway, and so I don't want to put a lot of thread through it right now. So I'm going to tighten it up when I come back down with my 3mm and my 2mm drug beads. So right now I'm going to start making some more right angle weave units for my next section. So I've already got my 1 bead. I just need 3 more. I'm coming out the bottom. I'm going to go on the top. And I'm going to go around all these beads again. I'm going to sew around until I'm coming out this bead on the right here so I can make my next right angle weave unit. So I'm just going to keep making right angle weave units until I get however long I decide I want my next section to be. And then I'm going to take my stop bead off of this side and put my other needle on here, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side that I'm doing on this side. I'll make another connection point just like this one on this side, and then however many I decide for my next section. And then I'll make another one of these and do another section. I'm not sure how many units each of these sections are going to be, but when I get it all figured out and come back, I'll show you, and then we'll do what I'm going to do next. So I'll be back. Okay, this is what I've got now. I did 11 right angle weave units for my focal part, and then I did 5 my connection point on each side, and then 5 units and my connection point on each side, and 3 units and my connection point and 3 more units. So now I'm going to put my little 3mm fire polish beads and 2mm fire polish beads, and I hope that that's going to make this curve the way I want it to. So I'm coming out of this bead here on the end where I made my last right angle weave unit. I'm going to go down into this bead, and I've got my 3mm fire polish beads here. I'm going to pick up a 3mm, and I'm just going to go into that next 4mm. Just pop that in there like that. Pick up another 3mm and go into the next 4mm. And I'm sure like a 3mm bicone would fit in here if you'd rather do that instead of the fire polish bead. Now I'm here to my connection point. I'm going to pick up an 11/0 to kind of fill in this little gap here, and I'm going to go into these 3 11/0s, the 11/0 above the 5mm, and the 11/0 under the 5mm, if I can get in it. There we go. Just to kind of fill in that little space there. Now I'm going to go down these 3 11/0s. Pick up another 11/0. Go into this 4mm. Now I'm going to pick up a 3mm fire polish bead. Go into the next 4mm bead. Pick up another 3mm. Go into the next 4mm. Make sure not to get caught around everything. Now I'm going to pick up an 11/0. I'm at my connection point here again, so I'm going to pick up an 11/0, go into these 3 11/0s, the 11/0 above the 5mm, the 5mm, the 11/0 on the other side of the 5mm. I'm going to go down these 3 11/0s. Pick up an 11/0, go into this 4mm. Now I'm going to put my 3mm between all these 4mm beads. When I get to my connection point, I'm going to do just like I did these two. And when I get all that done, I'll come back and we'll do the inside part of the necklace. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got all my 3mm fire polish beads around the outside of my necklace. And now I'm going to put my 2mm druck beads that I've got here on the inside of my necklace. And I've got both of my threads coming out the same end now, so I'm going to pick up, it doesn't matter, I'm going to pick up one of them. And try not to get them tangled. This is why I don't like working with 2 needles, even though I'm not working with 2 needles at the same time. Now, let's get this out of the way. Well, need to get this needle untangled so I can get it out of my way. I'm still going to use it. I'm not done with it. Or I would just sew it in and get rid of it, but I'm still going to use it. Okay, I think I'm untangled now. Okay, so this is the side. Let me zoom back in again. This side is where I'll put my 3mm. I'm going to put my 2mm on this side. I'm coming out of this 4mm on the end here. I'm going to go in this one. And I'm going to pick up one of my little 2mm druck beads and go into the next 4mm bead. Pick up another 2mm drug bead, go into the next 4mm bead, and you could, I'm sure you could put a 2mm bicone in here. You could probably just, if you don't have any 2mm, you could probably just put an 11-0 in there. These little 2mm drug beads are not much bigger than an 11-0. Now I'm to my connection point, so I'm going to pick up an 11-0. I'm going to go in these 3 11-0s. The 11-0 on the other side, under the 5mm, the 5mm, and the 11-0 on the other side of the 5mm. Now I'm gonna make sure I have to make sure this time that I come down the right side of my connection point here. My 3mm are here, so I need to come down this side. So I'm going to come down these 3 11-0s. Pick up an 11-0. Go into this 4mm bead. I'm pick up a drug bead. Go into the next 4mm bead. Pick up another drug bead. Go into the next 4mm bead. And now I'm to my connection point again, so I'm pick up an 11-0. Go in these 3 11-0s. The 11-0 under the 5mm, the 5mm, the 11-0 above the 5mm. Now I'm going to make sure I come down the right side of my little connection here. My 3mm are on this side, so I want to come down this side. I'm going to come down these 3 11-0s. Pick up an 11-0. Go into the 4mm. So I'm going to keep doing that, putting my little drug beads between all my 4mm beads, and then putting in that little extra 11-0 when I get to my connection point. And when I get all that done, I'll come back and we'll do what's next. So I'll be back. Okay, this is what I've got now after I got all my 3mm on the outside and my 2mm on the inside. And I measured it, and it's 13 inches. And I wanted to make it about 18 inches. So my clasp and my jump rings and all that will probably take up about an inch. That would be 14 inches. So I think I'll do a couple of inches of beading on each side to make up the length here. And I'm just going to be using my 11-0s for this. And I'm coming out of this bottom 4mm bead where I put in my last 3mm fire polish bead. I'm going to pick up 9 of my 11-0s. And I'm going to go from this bottom 4mm bead into this top 4mm bead. Just circle that bead there. Now I'm going to go into this 4mm bead. And then back up this 4mm bead. And then I'm going to go up 5 of these 9 beads that I just put on. And now I'm going to do some of these diamond shaped units that I call double right angle weave units. I'm not sure if that's really what they're supposed to be called, but that's what I call them. I'll pick up 4 of my 11-0s. Coming out the top of that 11-0, I'm going to go in the bottom of it. Now I'm going to go up the first one of those 4 that I just put on. Pick up an 11-0, go into the next 11-0, pick up an 11-0, go into the next 11-0, pick up an 11-0, and go into the next 11-0 and the connecting 11-0. This side looks kind of loose, so I'm going to go back around it again. So I'm going back into these 4 11-0s and into that 4mm bead. And back into this 4mm bead. And up this 4mm bead. Back into these 4 11-0s. And into that connecting 11-0 if I can get in it. I don't think I can, so I'm just going to go up those 4. Now I'm going to go into this connecting one that I started my little double right angle weave unit in. Now I'm going to sew up here to the tip so I can make another double right angle weave unit. I'm going to go up these 2 11-0s. And into these 2 till I get to the tip here. And now I'm going to pick up 4 more 11-0s. And I'm coming out of the top of that 11-0. I'm going to go on the bottom of it. Now I'm going to go up the first of those 4 11-0s that I just put on. Pick up an 11-0. Go on to the next 11-0. Pick up another 11-0. Go on to the next 11-0. Pick up another 11-0. Go on to the next 11-0. And the connecting 11-0 that I started in. Now I'm going to sew up here till I get to the tip again so I can make another unit. Go up these 2 11-0s. And these 2 11-0s. Now I'm just going to keep making these little diamond shaped units until I get a couple of inches done. And then when I come back, I'll put one side of the wire guarding on. So I'll be back. Okay, this is what I've got now. I made 9 of my little diamonds. And this just comes to about 1 3/4 inches, but I think that'll be long enough. I'm trying not to make this so terribly long like I usually do. Necklaces, I think this, I was kind of trying to make it into sort of a collar necklace. So I'm just going to sew my wire guardian directly onto this last little diamond unit I made. So I'm going to take my wire guardian and go up 1 channel. And then I'm going to go down the other channel. Hold my finger over the wire guardian so the thread lands in the channel. Now I'm going to go back into that bead on the tip there. And I'm just going back around my wire guardian. back into the bead that I started sewing it onto there. I'm just going to go around that one more time, and then I'm going to go down through here and sew my thread in. I don't think I'll make any half-inch knots. I think I'll just sew around these little diamond units and crisscross my thread and get it locked in that way, and then I'll cut it off. And then I'm going to go to this side and make 9 of the little diamond units like I did on this side and put my wire guarding on. And then when I come back, I'll make my little dangle to go off the extender chain and put the findings on. So I'll be back. Okay, this is what I've got now. I've got my wire guardians on each end here, and now I'm going to make a little dangle to go off my extender chain. So I'm going to put my little red Jasper bead on here. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go to the very tip of the pliers, pin the wire over to 90-degree angle. I guess I need to zoom in just a little bit. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Kink the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Like that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers. Start to wrap. Just make sure to get the first wrapping under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. And I use my crimping pliers here, the little half circles at each end, to tuck in the burr when I cut off wire. And now I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and my extender chain. I'm going to open the end of my extender, the last link of my extender chain, a thread on my little dangle. Close my extender chain back. There's my little dangle. So now I'm going to just put my jump rings on, and wherever my lobster clasp went, there it is. I'm going to put just a couple extra jump rings than I usually do on this, just to make up that little extra bit of length. And so this is a 4mm jump ring. I'm going to put it on this side. Close it back up really well. I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up. Put on my lobster clasp. And attach it to the jump ring I already put on here. Close my jump ring back. Okay, now I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Open it up and put it on this side of my necklace. Close my jump ring back. And then I have an 8mm jump ring for my lobster to clasp onto. Open it up, attach it to my little 4mm jump ring, and put my extender chain on here. So, I'm finally all done. So, hold on, I'll get my beads cleaned up and try to get this all laid out, and I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace all done, made with some of the beads that came in my most recent Adornable Elements Rotating Beads of the Month Club. This month I got the red Jasper gemstone beads and some of the crystals from a previous Crystals Companion Pack. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to any of the Beads of the Month clubs and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you 10% off the first month of whatever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. And if you use my code and you sign up for the Rotating Beads of the Month club, which is the one that I get, they'll put you on the same rotation that I'm on, which means you'll get the same collection of beads that I do every month. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.